Welcome back, guys, to episode 16. I cannot believe that it's already been 16 episodes. It's been a ton of fun. We've gotten a lot of stuff done, and everything's been really great with this series. I hope you guys are enjoying it. So today, if you've seen our last episode, we were going to be getting into our new alternative recipe, our stitched iron plates. I had to overclock these. Originally, I was going to do 160, but I tried out 240, and that gives me a pretty decent number as well. It leaves me with 45 and 90, which means we're going to have to take our iron plates and combine them together into one line just to make it simple for everybody. Basically, it's going to involve running those iron plates from down there all the way up here to connect into a merger. You already kind of have a line set up, so it shouldn't be too hard. And then we have to figure out how to get our screws over to our copper station. So there's a lot of stuff to get done today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's get into it. Okay, so we basically broke into our little transport conveyor wall issue, or room that we have here. It's a total mess, but it's basically just here so I don't see anything. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put another platform here real quick. So I'm using these conveyor walls, and I'm doing it on the second level, and this should connect fairly well with this back here. I'm hoping that it doesn't. Yeah, it came out a little bit, but I might be able to back up that merger. I'd probably back up that merger and make that more of a right angle. I'll probably do that. But that way, this is going to come in. This will need to be upgraded to a Mark II line because it's producing 80. But then from here, we're going to have a merger that'll be placed right here with the window. And that way, the Mark II lines can run right into the side of this. And then this will connect back here to this here, which is the upper level to... I don't really care about the right angle because it's just my junk room. But this way, you have the plates coming in on both sides here. Once I upgrade those to Mark II and I fix that right angle, there we're going to be able to run this as it's 80 and 80, so we're going to need the Mark III line from here. But we connect this into here. It will click. Did I place this merger wrong? I did. Okay, I'm going to change this merger. You guys get the idea. I'm going to get everything fixed and all these lines more organized, and I'll be back in with an update in a second. Alright, so now that we have that upgraded, we need to upgrade the rest of this line. So that's already a Mark III. If we go to our little maintenance room here, we got our Mark III line being upgraded as well. Then from here, we just have to take this down into a splitter, and then we can split this off into both of them. So what I'm going to do, since this is definitely a ton of overflow, I'm probably going to use this hole here. The screws aren't necessary for this room. Actually, I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I might try to fit them into this line. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah. Okay, so that's the third line that's going over the top. So I'm going to fit these screws with a merger into this top line. Then this line is going to run back to our storage room, and we'll have a little bit of a thing for the overflow as well. Once that overflows, we'll have a second overflow, which will lead off into a resource sink. That way we'll have a full container of these iron plates, and then we'll have everything else that we need as well. So I'm going to get working on that. Basically, it's going to try to make this obsolete because once I like having this here, you know, I might leave it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I got to do some overflowing, and I'll explain to you guys once I get it more set up and I kind of give you more of a visual as opposed to me rambling on about what's going on. Okay, so we got our splitter set up for our iron plates, and basically all we're doing here is it's literally coming down the line, just like we said. We have our center and our right for iron plates, and we have our overflow off to the left. Basically what we're going to do is we'll take a another lifter, just like this. We're going to do some fancy finagling. I know this is a Mark 1, but it's okay. Try to get like a right angle out of it. Like right there would work. Raise it up to, then we'll connect them. The wrong number. Okay. And then that way it'll run right across the right angle, and then you have your overflow actually heading off that way. So it will head back over here. We can go through a little storage thing, and then we can have it right up to the resource sink. I'll figure that out in a second. Right now I want to get the copper wire hooked up, so I'm gonna go work on that, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Alright, so I still know that this is an absolute mess and I need to work on it, but I just want to show you guys what I'm doing. We're going to ignore this whole mess and come back to it later on. So this right here is literally just another smart splitter. We already have our overflow line set up. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. It's called Copper Chaos. It's pretty fun. But anyway, so we already have an overflow line set up with this smart splitter. This is going down to our storage, so we have our storage set up as well. The only thing we need is get actual transport. So I ran another smart splitter, and then we have overflow that'll go to the storage first, and then it will go to the overflow. And then before it goes to anything else, it's going to go to our actual production over there. So we're going to take these conveyor mount walls, and we're literally just going to run this all the way. We'll put another like conveyor wall like right on the inside of this, and we'll all connect together and run right across the top of the next room, and then into our actual room over there where we can connect everything into the splitter. Okay, so it's not the most perfect thing in the world, and I can admit that. I might have to figure out how to work it out a little bit better. I wish there was a way to place these holes like not center when you only need one of them, because I could put like a 3 wall would be perfect right here, because it would have, if I can find it. Yeah, so if I had something like this, it would work out because it'd be all the way on the edge. It would run straight into it, but there's nothing else there, so it would look wrong. Also, I have these screws running here, which I might be able to fix, and I might be able to kind of work this out a little bit better, because there's no need for it to be this high. Like, this is almost clipping into the top of the roof, so I might change this and then put this back up to this level so it's just straight across, as opposed to like it coming down and then being flat and then going down again. And then I could just raise these up a little bit and make the whole thing flat, and it would just look a lot better. So oh, did not mean to do that. So I might change this around a little bit, make it a little more nicer, but for right now this is what I got. Everything is hooked up, it is running, it is supplying everything as efficiently as possible. So we're getting, you know, 120 a line, whatever it is right here, and then we're getting plenty of iron plates pulled in right now. So the last thing I need to do is work out the storage and the overflow for the iron plates, and then this part's done, and we can move on to our next room over here, which is going to be our copper sheets, which is going to involve us making a little bit more of the copper sheets and then figuring out how to get our actual screws over to where we need them. So there's a bunch more stuff to do. I'm going to get back to working on this storage room and the overflow for our iron plates, and I will be back. Seriously, if you guys do not have a like one by whatever hallway this is, where you just have all this stuff crammed in the back of it, I completely recommend it. Like, I do not care at all about how this stuff gets placed. I don't care about if it clips. I don't care if it's crooked. I never look at it. It just does everything that it needs to do in the background. So if you have not done this before, I really highly recommend it. Find a way to work it in your factory, because this is absolutely like the best thing I've ever done in my life. So we have our merge line running, or not a merge line, overflow line for storage coming back through here. I was thinking about it, and I probably could have added like the smart splitter here, and that would have saved me from having to do all that stuff over there. But it just really wouldn't work out with the space that I had, so I'm just going to do this anyway. It's not that big of a deal. I already have the wall set up for it anyway. I did have to turn this to a 2-wall so I can have this run back to that storage box there. I know I said I was going to get rid of it, but that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to have that run there. I'm going to put a splitter down here real fast that will basically handle the overflow problem. So we'll have a splitter here that'll run overflow to that storage, or it'll run the actual stuff to that storage. Once the storage is full, gonna run our overflow back out to a different resource sink. So we have that one up there. I may run this to the front of the building for now. I might put it on top of everything, because this wall right here is the top of the smelters. I believe it's only 4 high, so like right here. Yeah, so that's the roof right there. So I can put a resource sink out this wall, and then everything will probably work out good. There's nothing really going on in the front. Plus, I feel like it'll add a little bit extra depth. If it does look wrong, then, you know, I can always change it later on. But we're going to fix all of our factory this day, so we move on to phase 3. I'm going to get back to work, and if I have another update, I'll show you guys. Okay, so I went ahead and I replaced these constructors here. Got it back to 4 for the iron rods. This is producing 60 again. This is powering, or not powering, this is supplying the modular frames, I believe. I'd have to double check the line. I might put in some signs so I can actually see what this is going to. That'll make it a little bit more organized for me, and I can understand a little bit better. Also, I really want to rework this. It looked good. I like the way that it crosses over, but overall it just kind of bothers me a little bit. So I think I will rework this in a little bit, but maybe I'll get to this video, maybe I won't, I'm not sure. I'm going to keep focused on the project at hand, which means I got to go down to this last level down here and figure out how to merge this into here. This is still a merger, so I should be able to run this all together, and it should work out fine. It's a matter of getting this all connected. So a little bit more work to do. I'm gonna get back to it, and I'll give you guys an update in a second. So as of right now, I got it suspended like right in the middle of the air. I mean, it all works. It's all hooked up. You can see the splitter through here and all that stuff. So I may rework that. But I mean, like I said, this is kind of like the closet. So this is where everything's crammed back in here, and I don't really want to think about it. So maybe I'll organize that a little bit better. But basically, if you can kind of try to understand what's going on, I got the smart splitter here for the overflow. It's going to be going up to the top to the resource sink out there. And then I have the actual storage line here going around through here and being merged back into with everything. So this line, actually I don't know what's in here. I'll upgrade that to Mark II real fast. If I can. Oh, that's actually, it looks. Can I just not upgrade it? Why is it trying to give me a different shape? I'll see what I can figure out with that, but this will need to get upgraded to a different size line, because if not, it's not going to be able to supply with the overflow and everything else, because this is actually producing 80 of these, all this together, and then this line in here is. No, that looks different. Yeah, so that looks. This is a Mark II line. Kind of hard to see, but it's in there. That's a Mark II line, so that'll be fine then. I'm just overthinking the problem a little bit too much. So all this should be working as a pretty good system, and this should almost be constantly running. If not, no, that's just a storage line. So if I take some of this out, we're gonna see what happens here. Is this not gonna merge into this? I'm gonna have to replace this merger because this line isn't connected. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I replaced the merger and I reconnected everything. I was able to upgrade that to the Mark III, so now that's left is flying in there, and this is pretty much gonna run almost in a constant loop because it's just pulling and then putting it back in there, and then any of the overflow would be put out to the resource sink. So we have to go build the resource sink. I got to build a way to get up there, and we're getting to the point where we got a lot of the stuff done. We just have to finish, or we just have to move on to the actual copper sheets, or the rotors back there, if you will. So I'm gonna build this resource sink up here, try to get this all figured out, and then I'll be back. All right, so I literally just went up to our 3rd floor here, and I took out this wall, replaced it with a door, a little 2-meter ramp to kind of get us down here nice and pretty, and then we have our actual resource sink up here. So everything is connected, it's all running. There is not a lot of overflow because I took that out of there. So in a little bit, this will start filling up and it'll start giving us more plates. I'm going to go ahead and take some railing around the edge of this just to kind of make it look a little more interesting. And I want to see what it looks like from the front. Oh, a little bit too far there, because I feel like it's going to look really good. Gotta check it and make sure. Got that. I'll run over here. Oh yeah, that adds a lot to it. Makes it kind of look like it has a purpose to be there. I would like to kind of switch around and run to the front, but yeah, I might turn it around. I don't know. I'll check it out and I'll give you guys. I'll let you guys know if I change anything. I know it's probably, maybe not, but it's probably bothered you guys a little bit at least. The fact that I have never made a room around this actual thing up here. So that's what we're doing. I built up the front wall. I gotta zoop the rest of these, and then we're gonna cover this up so stops looking like just, you know, an outside portion of the base. But we're gonna cover this up. It means I gotta get rid of some of this railings that I just put down, but it'll be okay. I'm gonna cover this up for like the 3rd time, and then I will get back to work, I promise. Okay, so I had this little bitty catwalk in here. That way we kind of get an overview, and this is another little area that I can hang out in. We have all this walled off. The rock's going to be in here. It's just going to be part of the factory. We're not really going to spend a whole lot of time in here. We already kind of talked about how this room is literally just trying to get the last little bit of space out of it. So that's just going to be a little nice little nature feature that we have in our factory. And then we have a little catwalk so we can overlook our progress, our processing. If we need to see anything that's going on, we look up here and see. So nice little thing. And then over here I did switch around the resource sink, and it is running, so it is consuming whatever is being put out here, but we don't have overflow yet. And then since I turned the resource sink around, now it looks like this. Now we got that up there. Everything is coming along really good. I still need to figure out that looks kind of stupid, but overall it's all coming together. So I'm gonna actually get back to what I was supposed to work on, which is figuring out our copper wire, not copper wire, our rotor, our new altar recipe that we have. So I'm going to get back to work on that instead of doing some little odds and jobs, and I'll be back with an update in a second. So I did go ahead and I lifted this up. I was tired of seeing this weird little S thing going on, so I lifted this up over the top, and now we have an actual lifter instead of everything else falling around all over the place. That's finished. I did split everything else over here. So I added the screw rail right here, so this is split. This is coming from 2 different areas. This is coming from your upper area, and this is coming from all the way across over there for the screws up there. So now I just need to hook this line. It looks like it's disconnected in some part. So I'm gonna go hook this line up, and then we should have these running. And the last step we need to do is actually get more copper sheets produced. So I think instead of adding the Mark II miner and trying to double all the production, I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just using a power shard to jump that up another like 30 more, and then that way I can just add like 2 more smelters back here or something simple, and a little section right here, and that way I can just get enough to make you know, 10 more or 30 more, which would be enough to power this, and it'll give me an extra 10 remaining instead of the 20 that I have now. So I think that's what I'm going to do, keep it nice and simple as opposed to trying to revamp the entire system and just keep everything nice and organized, changing a bunch of stuff. So I also really need to add an overflow line for these, because this is like way too much, and I think it'd be really easy to do up there and just tie it in with the actual modular frame overflow line, because this is producing a lot more than we can like consume up there. It's only consuming 9 of these reinforced plates up there, and we're consuming 13 off of one of these, so we're making an extra like 17 a minute, and it's just coming out incredibly fast. So I'm gonna have to make an overflow line up there as well. There's a lot of stuff to get done. I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll tell you guys what's going on in a second. Okay, so I'd have to actually check the numbers on this, but I don't know if there's actually any overflow for this. I think there is. I'm pretty sure where this is headed needs 195, and this producing 40 times 6 is 240. So I think it's a 50 remaining overage, which means I do probably need to add in an overflow line, which I should regardless, like just in case anything happens. But I think all I would have to do is put a splitter right here and then run a second lifter from like each side. So I can do one lifter here, one lifter here, and then tie this into this wall. And then all I have to do is figure out a merger down there with that actual piping. So, which may cause me to rework that a little bit, but that would be a really easy overflow line. So I think I'm going to do that in the background, just so you guys kind of get an idea what's going on. I'm trying not to show every like little thing because there's a lot of stuff going on. But I just want to talk out what I'm doing, and then you guys kind of understand it, I'm sure. Just a little pro tip for you guys. If you see something like this, where this is really spread out, there's a line issue going on somewhere. So I'm gonna retract this line and see if I can find where it's not an actual Mark III, because basically what's happening is you have the Mark III lines that's coming in, and then it's hitting a soft point like a 60 or a 120 line, and then it's like almost like a traffic jam, like it's bunching up, and it's only releasing, you know, 60 at a like in time. So if you see anything that's spaced out like this where it should be, especially on like strews where it's produced in like 4s, something's wrong. So I'm gonna have to go back down this line and check and see what I can find. Yeah, so I guess when I cross this over, I didn't upgrade this. So if you look up there, that's only a Mark I line. So it's coming like really steady and slow, and it's bunching up, and then it's hitting the fast point where it actually take off. So we're gonna go ahead and upgrade this, and then we'll double check and see what's moving. So now it's moving really good. So we fixed that problem. That was a really simple fix. But just so if you're working on your factory, you never see something like that, and you're like, oh man, I don't know how that happened, you know, just retract the line and see what you can find, and then you're definitely going to find like a little blockage going on with the different line not being upgraded. So now that we got this flowing in, the only thing we need now is our copper sheets. I'm going to close off this back wall, and I'm going to fix this and make a little hole in the floor of these guys so it's a little bit more organized. Plus this just needs to be closed. I've had this back side of this open just because we don't actually ever come over here, and I never look at it, but it needs to be closed. So I'm going to get back to work. Okay, so I added another little room, and I upped this to 150, which is an extra 30 on top of what it was running. So I also need to upgrade this line to a Mark III. But basically the plan is it should still split. Oh man, I gotta figure out this split, because the split is gonna be very complicated. So I think if I actually tie this in, because this can only take, you know, X amount per minute. So I think if I take this splitter and I change it to a spark splitter, and then I have an overflow line, it should overflow to 30, because it can't take any more than what it already has. So I'm gonna try that first, and if it works out and everything goes good, then you know that's great. But if I have any problems, I'll keep working on this problem. So I need to set this right to overflow. Center needs to be copper ore, and then this other one needs to be the same thing. This should all work fine, and then I should only need to take this out over here. I gotta take out this wall. This is the little room that I built. I'm gonna try to just cram everything in here. It's a bit small, but it should work out okay. So let me take here, Then I'll do a wall. And not a door. I need conveyor wall. That way it's a little more elevated. Nice and pretty. I had to figure out how I want to handle this situation because there's some merging issues that I'm having here, and I basically kind of have to rework everything because it's just running straight into the backside. And I have to run a double conveyor wall and then try to make it work. So I think it's possible. It's just a matter of trying to figure it out. And then this, like, obviously is just coming right out the side of it. So I don't know how that'll all work, but if I can figure it out, I'll probably take care of it in the background. There we go. Now this should have some coming out at least, and then we should have an overflow line as long as everything's working fine. So this should only be coming out if everything else is full. 150, 150, 30, 30, 60, 120, 120. So it should be pretty constant, actually. So I'm going to set up the smelters, and I'm going to see if I actually have this working correctly. So I was thinking about it, and I just looked, and I actually need 60 instead of 30, which honestly works out perfectly because if I bump this up to the 180 that I need, then this means this is just a tri-split or a triple split. So this is literally just 60, 60, 60, which is going to equal 180. This actually works out perfectly. All I had to do was just put in a power shard and then double or add an extra 50% to the production. This is all coming down here. It's all organized. We have our smelters running, or not running. We got to hook it up to the power. We have all this, and then we just need to build our constructors, merge it, put it into this line, and merge this into the upstairs. I'm going to try to fix this because this does not work out how I wanted it to. So I got to work on this a little bit, but it's getting pretty close. We just got to finish off a couple more things, and we're getting to the end of having this factory fully set up. I don't know if I've ever said this, but copper sheets is literally like the most easiest thing to set up in the world. It's literally just a 60 to 3 split. Like you don't even need to do like an extra splitter or anything. You take 2 smelters, you merge it, you set it into 1 splitter and split it up into 3s, and then you merge it again. It's literally the easiest thing in the world. Okay, so I hooked up a lot of the stuff. This is going to be a problem though. I want to get rid of this thing like as soon as possible. So once I finish setting up the rest of this copper stuff, then I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to have to literally dump it all down the drain. Go ahead and put this wall up real quick because we don't need this. Got that covered. I'm going to fix this line as well once I get rid of that. But it's just kind of a reminder. I'm going to look at it and be like, oh, this is stupid. And then be like, oh, well, I got to fix that. So we're going to leave that there for right now. This is all hooked up. We have an industrial storage here, so we're going to have more copper sheets than before. That way I don't have to worry about anything. I make sure I have some. This is going to be running into here, and this is the second level up here. So all I have to do is hopefully, if it will fit, is take a Mark 1, and then I connect this into this wall, and then that's on the actual second level. So if I go up there go fast, you'll be able to see it. I don't have stairs on the side. You'll guys see it in a second. We got this hooked up here. We have it lifting and going across so we can walk underneath it, and this is our splitter. So we'll just double check, make sure everything's looking nice and good. So it's still only consuming 22 plus 22, so 45 a minute, which means we get to use Mark 1 for all these. So it's been really, really cheap. Our screws are absolutely flying in. We need to work on the overflow for that, but everything is working really, really good. And we just need to start the power for the next room. So this is like actually on the wrong one. I just tie this in here. Will that work? Yep, I just heard everything kicked on. We'll go down there and look real fast, and then everything should be running, and then all I need to do is get rid of this storage chest, and then everything should be good to go. Or you're not running. That's because I don't have this selected. Throw those on there. We got yellow lights. We're just waiting on the actual melting to start, and there it goes. So everything's looking really, really good. I'm gonna watch this for a little bit, and as long as I don't come into any issues, everything should be fine, and we can kind of go to the end of this video. Alright guys, this is going to be the end of the video. We went ahead and just did a little recap here. We got all this running. We set up our overflow and our storage situation for a lot of the stuff that we're having trouble with in our plant. We have our reinforced iron plates running at a whopping 27 a minute, which is really, really good just for 2 of these. They are overclocked really high, and they are consuming a ton of power. But you know what? It's okay. We are producing plenty of it, as well as having an overflow, so now we're able to get more of our coupons that we need. So we have all this set up. We redid all of our lines from there. We fixed a bunch of stuff over there. We even fixed this room out here. We gotta close this. There's one more thing to do. It feels like every time I look at something, there's always something new to be done. So we fixed that area. We fixed all of our iron stuff over there, our iron module 1. And then finally, the main point of the video is getting all of our rotors running. We do have a full thing of rotors. We do not have anything set up for the overflow on the rotors, but these need to be transported out of here anyway. So the resource sink dumping for the rotors can be done at a different point. I am manually moving them all the way down to the docking station down there, whatever you want to call it, where they can make motors. There's already stairs being moved over there, so that's where kind of everything's merging together. Everything in the factory is going really, really good. For our next episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of a factory tour as we kind of close out the end of this factory and what's going to be done here. There is always more to be done. There is plenty of stuff that we can change and add to the factory, but as opposed to being a really solid entity where everything is set up to run, you know, evenly, there's not a whole bunch of overrun, and if there is overrun, it is being dumped down the drain. So there's a lot of stuff that is going on here, but adding to it would just add a lot to it, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the next video, more about what our plans for are the future. All that being said, guys, thank you for continuing to watch the series. Thank you for your support. If you guys do comment, you guys can make it onto the comment wall. So all that being said, guys, thank you one more time. Make sure you like down below, comment if you want to be featured on the wall, and subscribe to follow this series. Guy King out. You guys have an awesome day.